Hello, hello, brothers and sisters. It's a new week. This is Prince Ojong, your host. I'm very, very humble to welcome you to our show titled Speak of Africa. We know you love this show, and we started this show for you. We started this show because we wanted to give you a voice. This week, there's a whole lot of news breaking out in Africa. As usual, our role is to be the voice of the people. We are the African voice. We are the voice of the voiceless. So when we look at the euphoria concerning the achievement of Trump's second coming is very, very big. People are very excited. A lot of Africans, I'm really surprised, they're really supporting Trump. They feel like Trump is a savior, that God has chosen Trump to come and liberate Africa. Well, that's the viewpoint of some of our people, and we welcome their right to express themselves. But as usual, we're going to put things in perspective. Let us not expect Trump to rescue us as a savior. Let's try to do things ourselves. Let's make things possible so that everything should be good for us. The focus this week is going to be on the war on terror. The war on terror has been waged in Africa now for over 23 years. How has it been? Not very well. That's what we can tell you. The U.S. decided to declare a war on terror on September 11, 2001. Okay? This war was declared when Al-Qaeda, under the leadership of Osama bin Laden, sent terrorists to send planes to break and destroy the towers in New York. Okay? So then even those planes also damaged parts of the Pentagon. Another plane that was coming from Pennsylvania was grounded by resistant Americans who love their country. They decided to perish instead of allowing this plane to come and destroy America. So they decided to sacrifice themselves. So you see how patriotic Americans can be. So since then, the war on terror has been unleashed by the United States of America, and America has tried to get everybody on their side. So either you are with America or you are with the terrorists. As we see it, this war on terror has had so many ramifications in Africa because a lot of African presidents they're exploiting this war on terror as a golden gift to kill and terrorize their own people. The U.S. is supplying weapons to most of these African presidents. The U.S. is supplying weapons to them to fight jihadis who are the principal actors in this war on terror. Instead of these African presidents using these weapons to fight jihadis, rather, they are using these weapons to fight their own people, to silence opposition members who are voicing displeasure with the way the state is run. Pretty much that's what has been happening. And we're going to give you a catalog of so many African countries, and you're going to see how this war on terror plays out. This has become a poison gift. You think that with the weapons America supplies, African countries are going to use these weapons to fight jihadists. Rather, the presidents are using these weapons to fight their own people who want self-determination, who are complaining about bad governance. That's what is happening. We take you straight to Ambazonia, which is another country. Ambazonia is fighting for self-determination. For over 60 years, they have been slaves of La République du Cameroon, and they are dreaming of breaking away and forming their own country. They are struggling to restore their independence. Okay? But La République is acting like a bad husband. Your wife is telling you, I want a divorce, I want to leave. You say, oh no, you cannot leave. If you leave, I'm going to die. I will keep you in this marriage, even though you are not happy. That's the easy way I can explain the relationship between La République du Cameroon and Ambazonia. It's like a very bad marriage, like a failed marriage. But when we look at Ambazonia this week, what has been happening is the United Nations has summoned La République du Cameroon to its Committee on Human Rights and Terror. Okay? A lot of videos and pictures have recorded this event in Geneva, and you could see some of the slaves from La République du Cameroon making a case for La République du Cameroon, telling blatant lies. We know that there are too many atrocities committed by the Paul Biya regime, but these agents are saying, oh no, the Paul Biya regime has just been acting legally, trying to enforce the law. They have not done anything wrong. No. All you guys watching, you send me a lot of videos so that we can share this with the international community. But of course, you must remember that the United Nations was able to get most of this information because of what activists like you have been doing. You've been sharing a lot of content on social media. You've been sending some of this content to us, and we've been sharing this content with the powers that be. So the Cameroon government needs to be careful. The Biya government, whatever they are doing, the international community knows they are telling blatant lies. They cannot really make any excuses. It's like they know they are lying and they are just watching them act like kids. They know they have been killing people. We have a catalog of the atrocities of the poor Biya government. You cannot efface, even all the water of the ocean cannot efface the atrocities committed by the security forces of Paul Biya. The evidence is there. We've cataloged everything and we've shared this with the powers that be in the international community. So we're telling you that we're not alone. So many other activists have shared this information with the United Nations. So the United Nations has all the evidence showing that the Paul Biya regime has committed a lot of atrocities. It has committed violent and terrorist acts. So this government is a terrorist. It's a government of terrorists, okay? Because they inflict terror on their own people. And we have the evidence to show. There are so many videos. We cannot even start cataloging them. But all what we're saying to the Ambazonians is, for the first time, Donald Trump is coming to power again. It looks like the UN and the US Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, he's been a senator for a long time. During his tenure in the Senate, he was pro-Ambazonia. So many people are counting on his loyalty. They are thinking that he is going to adopt a pro-Ambazonia position. So Thibault Nage, the former Assistant US Secretary of State for Africa, is saying, unity, Ambazonia, unity, Ambazonia, unity. Ambazonians, stop fighting each other. Speak with one voice. Be united if you want the international community to listen to you. Be mature. Interestingly, we've realized that Ambazonians behave like children. Many Ambazonians, especially those who claim to be thought leaders, they always want people to take their sides. They don't want free thinking. And this is a problem in this revolution. You're going to lose a lot of people because of this negative way of thinking. Telling me that, oh no, when we become free, that's when we're going to become democratic. For now, we have to be dictatorial. That's garbage. You're going to lose a lot of people if you start acting as dictators. Who wants to live in a dictatorial Ambazonia? Nobody. Why are we fighting for the liberation of Ambazonia from a despotic La République du Cameroon only to create another despotic country? Who do you think wants to move from fry pan to fire? Nobody. So, Ambazonians, we don't want you to inherit the Biya sickness, okay? So now let's move to Burkina Faso. In Burkina Faso, you can also see that the people are ready for change. So many people are angry because of colonial counter measures, colonial destabilization measures. It looks like these people believe in him. So it looks like a big amount of money was discovered It looks like this money came from French sources and other colonial sources aimed at destabilizing the regime. It looks like the people were targeting close people in Ibrahim Traore's government. They wanted to bribe them with money so that they can sell out Ibrahim Traore and get him out, so that the French can return to power in that country. It did not happen because the people are upright. Le pays des hommes intègres. Those people like to be upright, so they don't want you to corrupt them. So we like what we saw there. But in Congo DRC, we don't really like what we saw. Felix Tshisekedi is struggling to change the constitution so that he can stay in power for long. Yet, Felix Tshisekedi doesn't want to do anything for the country. We saw him squabbling with international mining companies over rights and stuff like that. Then we even saw the collapse of a mountain, which symbolizes the frustration of the people. A mountain collapsed, then we could see copper coming out. Copper. The people were watching. This world, they will just watch, but they will not benefit from the world, the copper world. Felix Tshisekedi, with his fellow politicians, are going to siphon all of this stuff, and the people will get nothing. That's a tragedy of Congo DRC. What about Mali? In Mali, we also saw the people. They are countering colonial destabilization forces. They don't want these colonialists to take over the country again. They want Assimi Goïta to continue running the country because they are happy with most of the changes Assimi Goïta is introducing. The government of Assimi Goïta may not be democratic, but they like what they see, the way he's trying to change the country for good. So they are really impressed. We're just telling you, we don't support coup d'etats, but it looks like most of the people, from what we've seen on the ground, are supporting Assimi Goïta. So it's not our choice. So we're reporting the news. So as Africans, we are reporting the news from an African point of view. Although the Western media is telling you it's a dictatorship, but the people on the ground are supporting their country, their government. Okay? So it's the same thing that is happening in Niger. We saw that Niger has just booted out France. Orano, all those French mining companies have been kicked out. Then they just arrested a French spy who was trying to collect information. Niger arrested him. So Abdourahmane Tiani has put his people on the ground, and you can see the masses in Niger. They really want the government to declare sovereignty, and they don't want French forces to come back. So they are anti-French, and they are countering any kind of colonial French influence in that country. France is out, Russia is in, so Russia is the one benefiting from all this uranium wealth. France is crying like hell. We know the way the French forces behave. They will be looking for an opportunity to get back in the game. So, Abdourahmane Tiani, Mr. General, do your best with your people to keep France at bay, okay? Do whatever you can. I know you still have Mohamed Bazoum, the French puppet, but do what you can. Next, we take you to Nigeria.
Welcome to Ayuk Tax Service. We are tax professionals at your service. Our services include tax returns, payroll, bookkeeping, business planning. We provide professional service, years of experience, and are proud to serve your business. Get your maximum tax refund with 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. We are located at 11207A Lockwood Drive, Silver Spring, Maryland, 20901. Contact us at 240-350-1131. Fax 240-556-0535. Or email service@ayuktaxservice.com. Our hours of operation are weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and weekends 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. For more information, please visit us online at www.ayuktaxservice.com.
In Nigeria, we have the same problem. The war on terror has been taking place in Nigeria, And Nigeria basically is a hotbed. Nigeria is a giant of Africa. And you can see Boko Haram, when we start talking about the war on terror, Nigeria has really been the hotbed of this terror war that has been declared in Africa. Because from Nigeria, you have Chad, you have Cameroon, you have Niger, so you have the Lake Chad area. So the Boko Haram just moves around in that area. But you said to yourself, you should know, we've told you on our show many times, Boko Haram was born in Nigeria. Mohammed Yusuf left the northern part of Cameroon and moved to Nigeria to start this movement. Interestingly, the violent Nigerian police killed him in prison, and his followers did not take it kindly. Initially, his followers were not violent, but after they killed their leader, they resorted now to violence. And since then, there's been violence and violence and violence, and more people are dying. Who is to blame? Well, the blame should be laid squarely on the inefficient Nigerian government. I know this week, former President Olusegun Obasanjo came out again, swinging. He was attacking his successors. Interestingly, he was attacking the present president, Bola Tinubu, and he was also attacking the former president, Muhammadu Buhari. He was talking like he's Mr. Clean. But if you guys are used to a famous singer from Nigeria, Anikulapo Fela, he had his song, Army Arrangement. If you want to know about Obasanjo, Obasanjo comes from the same place as Fela Kuti, and that's Abeokuta. So Fela knows this guy very, very well, and Fela made a lot of songs against Obasanjo, especially one of the popular songs I remember, which is called Army Arrangement. When you listen to Army Arrangement, Fela lays threadbare who is responsible for the calamity of Nigeria. It is Olusegun Obasanjo. This guy has been president twice. First, as a military leader, after Murtala Mohammed was killed. Next, he became a leader again when they felt like they should do something for the Yoruba people. He became a civilian president. He ran twice and won twice. When he wanted a third-term project, that's when his vice, Atiku, rallied a lot of forces against him. But today, Obasanjo is presenting himself as a statesman. But the people feel like he's not really a great statesman because he is responsible for the calamity that has befallen Nigeria. Okay? That's what we see this week. A lot of people, even the Yorubas, are criticizing Olusegun Obasanjo. It's not Mr. Clean. ITT, International Tif. Obasanjo's government did a lot of state capture of institutions. A lot of money that was intended to build the electricity infrastructure went into kickbacks and bribes to Obasanjo's cronies. So then how can Obasanjo be talking about being Mr. Clean? That's a tragedy. And which is why the present leadership of Bola Tinubu looked at Obasanjo like a joker. Okay? Next, we take it to Gabon. Gabon is having a referendum. Okay? Brice Oligui Nguema, the military strongman, is organizing a referendum. The people have to say yes or no to the birth of a new constitution. The new constitution has a lot of elements. We don't really have time to get into all of it. But the new constitution is going to give the president a lot more power. Interestingly, Brice Oligui Nguema, the current strongman, the guy who organized the coup against Ali Bongo, is going to be a candidate. If he were serious that he wanted to change his country, we think he should not have made himself a candidate. But the fact that he's going to be a candidate just tells the people that he is going to be the next leader of Gabon, because he's just using the people, so the referendum is fake. As much as we've been hearing that Brice Oligui Nguema has some positive initiatives for the country, but the fact that he's going to run again makes people unhappy because they don't believe in the change he's talking about.
Welcome to a Uke Tax Service. We are tax professionals at your service. Our services include tax returns, payroll, bookkeeping, business planning. We provide professional service. years of experience, and are proud to serve your business. Get your maximum tax refund with 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. We are located at 11207A Lockwood Drive, Silver Spring, Maryland 20901. Contact us at 240-350-1131. Fax 240-556-0535 or email service@ayuktaxservice.com. Our hours of operation are weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and weekends 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. For more information, please visit us online at www.ayuktaxservice.com.
Mozambique. Mozambique has been having a whole lot of trouble, especially after Frelimo won the present presidential elections. You've had a lot of jihadist activity because the people are unhappy. Then the opposition lost a lot of members to violence, and they accused Frelimo for killing those opposition leaders. So for many months now, we've had protests in the country, serious protests. And the protests seem to be ongoing. They're not going anywhere. The protesters are there. They don't want to leave. So it's like a menace to the ruling Frelimo party. Okay? Then we take it to Senegal. Senegal had a new election in April. Bassirou Diomaye Faye was elected as a young president of Senegal. And he came to power under the Pastache banner, and he promised a lot of change to the country. The people now want new blood to run the country, so they have a lot of new programs. They want to get rid of the past of Macky Sall. So now, with the parliamentary elections coming up, how are things going to play out? We understand Macky Sall has returned from his exile, is it in Morocco? So he can win. But we see these legislative elections as a process where the old will be pushed aside and the new will take over power and embark on a lot of reforms for the country. Because it looks like Bassirou Diomaye Faye was elected on a banner of a lot of reform, complete rupture, break away from colonial France, independence, assignment of contracts, so that most of those French cronies will be swept aside. So it's a really serious talk of war. That's what is happening in Senegal. Then what about Somalia? Well, we hear the problem with Somaliland. Somaliland was a breakaway state in 1991, but since then they have been trying to do a lot of things autonomously, even though they are not recognized internationally. Even when they tried to sign a deal with Ethiopia, Somalia did not like it, and the war on terror has been using this country as a hotbed. A lot of people are dying. Of course, we have the Al-Shabaab activity that is very, very rife in that part of the world. And finally, we take you to Sudan. In Sudan, two generals have been tearing the country apart. So many people have died. We hear over 20,000 people have been killed. But the new story that broke today is the presence of French weapons used by RSF, the opposition army. Amnesty International discloses information, and we're sharing it with you. So France is always behind the scenes. France is always trying to do something in Africa. Even though they are not wanted, but they're always meddling with African affairs. So when is France going to learn to leave Africa alone? Well, it remains for you, my people, to do something about it, to kick France out. The young people of Africa have spoken. They've had enough of France. They are countering the colonial French influence in Africa, and we can see it everywhere, as we've shown you in this video. The youth of Africa is tired of France and foreign meddling. And they don't want you to go to Burkina Faso. They don't want you to go to Cameroon. They don't want you to go to Congo DRC. They don't want you to go to Niger. They don't want you in Nigeria. Nigeria was an English colony, but France is still there. France out. Gabon is still a former French colony. They don't want France. France out. Mozambique, France out. Senegal, France out. Somalia, France out. Sudan, France out. So let's kick France out. Bye-bye.
Do you need tax preparation services? We can help. Contact PJ Tax Service, America's only full-time income tax preparers. Like the good old doctor, we do not close our doors after April 15th. In fact, we stay open all year round in order to serve you. We are located at 11207A, Lockwood Drive, Silver Spring, Maryland, 20901. Make an appointment today with Prince Ojong, your tax expert. Call 240-350-1131 or visit us on the web at www.pjtaxservice.com.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.